Hello, I'm Luna, an astrologer and tarot reader of over 8 years. I have had the joy of guiding over 1,000 clients on their own personal astrological journeys, and today we're going to be talking about Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson. So these two were married before Ryan eventually then married Blake Lively, and there was rumors that allegedly Ryan cheated on Scarlett with Blake. So I wanted to take a look at their chart, see their dynamic, and maybe kind of take a look at what happened between these two, why their relationship ended, and if it was, maybe because of Blake Lively. So if you would like your own personalized reading, you can head on over to my store. The link is in the description below. So let's take a look at these two. On the inner circle in blue, we have Ryan's chart. And on the outer circle in orange, we have Scarlett's chart. So we actually have birth times for both of them. So that's awesome because we usually don't. First things first is Ryan's Venus is in Sagittarius. And pretty much her entire chart is like right on this Venus. Her sun, south node, ascendant are on his Venus. This means I do think he really, really, really loved Scarlett Johansson. I think she was his ideal dream woman, right? Venus ascendant is like already like, she is his physical type, ideally. Like she looks exactly the way that he is most attracted to. But then her son's here too, which is like her personality is also exactly what he wanted. So there was a lot of attraction from him to her. I think he was instantly obsessed with her, instantly like, I need to have her. Probably not surprising why he married her so quickly. This is like love at first sight, this Venus on the ascendant, and her south node being here adds another layer to this where, I mean, this could have been a karmic relationship for both of them. But it could also just mean that he felt an instant familiarity around her, like she was the one. I do think he met her and felt like she was the one. I think that she maybe was most attracted to the fact that he really loved her. I mean, she was really young when this happened. I think they got married when she was like 22 or 23. I think she felt adored by him. And she, with a south node here, the south node means that the relationship was probably easy to fall into. At least at the beginning. At least at the beginning, it seemed like they just fit together. But the thing about the South Node is that you outgrow it. Especially when you're as young as she was. She was still living in her South Node. And she was eventually going to move towards her North Node over here, right, in Taurus. So this is really interesting because I do think that this was a destined relationship. I do think they were meant to end up together. Maybe not necessarily get married, but it was definitely a relationship that would have been a huge turning point for both of them, a huge learning lesson for both of them. Her moon is in Scorpio. He has a moon in Scorpio, so they both have this like really intense, like all or nothing energy to them. And her sun in Sagittarius is very spontaneous and fun, so he probably loved her spontaneity. He loved how fun she was, how like chill and vibey she seemed. Sagittarius women have like a very, I don't want to say like one of the bros, but like one of the bros kind of vibe. Think like Billie Eilish or even like Miley Cyrus. Like there's such a like chill, cool vibe to them. And she's also beautiful. So like he probably thought of her as like the dream girl, right? Lilith isn't involved here. So it's not like, it wasn't like an unhealthy obsession. I think that he really saw her for who she was and really, really loved her for it. The issue with these two is that the very same thing he loved her for is the very same thing he couldn't handle about her. Her Uranus is here too, close to his Venus, and her south node being on his Venus. This means that he felt grounded to her, right? Because it's her south node, so it means that he feels drawn to her the most. He feels like was his like his anchor. And her Uranus is here, which means she was a very unpredictable anchor, right? She might have been very independent, the sun Sag. Like, this is someone who, I mean, she was 22, 23. Like, she was going to do everything in this world. She was going to travel. She was going to do anything she wanted. Sagittarius energy, like, these people are here to, like, do it all. And he felt tied to her. But she was, like, moving around a lot, right? Like, she was wild and independent and herself. And, like, maybe he felt like she didn't need him as much as he needed her, right? Like, this dynamic is one where, like, her feelings are very deep. She has a moon in Scorpio, but it's conjunct Saturn, which is very different from, having a moon conjunction to like Mars or Uranus. This means that the way that he handles his feelings is he's very like large proclamations, very like he wears his heart on his actions. If he loves you, he will like run to the ends of the earth for you. Like that's the kind of energy of a moon Mars in Scorpio. Her moon conjunct Saturn means that even though she may feel very, very deeply for you, she has a depth of emotion. She's also very grounded and maybe a bit more guarded about her feelings and maybe not so showy. And I think for him, that actually made him like her more. I think she felt like an unattainable little fairy, right? And being able to marry her probably felt like he won the lottery or something. But at the same time, because she was so, maybe, I don't want to say that she was distant, because I don't feel like she's distant. I feel like she just cared about herself and cared about her own life. You know, Uranus here and Neptune, this is like him idealizing her and her being like, cool, but I'm not gonna like, we're not tied at the hip. Neptune is like codependency. Like he's looking for codependency. Venus, Neptune is like, I live and breathe you. Moon, Mars, like you are the reason I live in Scorpio. Like Scorpio's so intense. And his Venus in Sagittarius made her an object of fascination because she was always changing and she was always like out of reach. But over time, I think that feeling of her being out of reach probably made him feel not good enough. Venus here. Like, what about my value? I feel like I'm always chasing you, right? It's her sun. She's calling the shots. Sun is her ego. It's her leadership. She was the leader in this relationship. And, you know, someone with a Sun North Node conjunction doesn't want to be the follower. The other thing that you have to think about, which is interesting, is they have an inverse. So he has a Sun North Node conjunction. She has a Sun South Node conjunction. The difference between the North Node and the South Node is the North Node is I want, and the South Node is I have. The North Node is I want to be. The South Node is I am. So the South Node shows you what you already have mastered, what is innate to her. Her Sun South Node conjunction, she is innately very successful. Her success came easily to her. Her success came early for her, right? Like when they met, like she was like already popping off as an actor. Sun South Node means that she found herself and found her glory and her leadership at a young age. Sun North Node means he was seeking power. He was seeking leadership. He was seeking trophies his whole life. When someone with a Sun North Node conjunction is with someone with a Sun South Node conjunction, he's going to feel like she's already where he wants to be, right? That's not a good feeling when you're someone who wants to be the leader. And his Venus on her South Node means that that's actually initially what drew him to her, beyond the fact that she was beautiful and like also had this like goofy, like chill personality. But she was also seemingly effortlessly successful with Sagittarius. She seemed like she was going places and he wanted to tag along. He felt like he wanted to be a part of, you know, her glory and her success. But the thing was, over time, he wanted his own success and he wanted her to follow him. He wanted to reverse it. The thing is with Sagittarius, anybody who has like a lot of Sag in their chart, you know, especially like a Venus or Mars in Sag, Moon in Sag, they don't chase. They make you chase. Sagittarius is represented by the centaur, so she was a free spirit. She did what she wanted and he followed. Like her perspective was probably like, I mean, I'm going in this direction, you're going in that direction, like we're good. But he was like, no, we have to go everywhere together. Venus, Neptune, like we have to like be tied at the hip, codependent. But beyond that, he also felt like, no, you sometimes have to follow me. And I don't think she felt like she wanted to do that. Her Venus and Jupiter conjunction is in his 4th house. I think he really envisioned a beautiful home, children with her. And I think with Capricorn here, though, I think that for her, her idea of home was her success, her career. I think the most valuable thing in her life, Venus, Jupiter, was her money, her career, her accolades. And for him, he wanted her Venus, Jupiter in the 4th house. Like, he wanted her life to be their home, their family, their marriage. And so this squares his Pluto. This is his controlling, obsessive, jealous tendencies. She brought a lot of life and flourishing to him and safety and comfort, but she only gave it on her terms sometimes. Capricorn, Venus and Capricorn women are very like, they know what they want and you either get with the program or you don't. Venus and Capricorn women, like, they either like you or they don't. You either fit into their life or you don't. You either, you know, get with the program about their career and the things that they care about and their goals, or you don't. And the square to Pluto here, this is him trying to steer what she's doing and what she's not doing, right? He wanted to steer the way she loved him. He wanted to steer, like, maybe how she was interacting with the opportunities that she got, Venus, Jupiter, like her luck. Also, though, I think she mentioned that he was like jealous of her success as an actor. That's also very like Pluto square to Venus, Jupiter. It's like jealousy over how blessed she was, Venus and Jupiter. She's adored and celebrated by people of authority. She's seen as a professional in the field that I want to succeed in. And that probably didn't really sit well with him. Her Mars in Aquarius squares all of his Sun, North Node, Moon, Uranus, and Mars. this is another aspect that makes her unattainable. It means that she's a free spirit. Mars in Aquarius. She marches to the beat of her own drum. I think something that's interesting about them too is I think if he was cheating on her with Blake, I don't think he expected her to divorce him. Like, I actually don't know who filed the divorce. I don't know who filed the divorce. But I can guarantee it was probably Scarlett who brought it up with the Mars in Aquarius. That means she's like, I'm out. I'm out, right? Aquarius is very like, my freedom comes first. My independence comes first. Especially with the Venus in Capricorn. Like, this is not working. Okay, you are not in line with my long-term goals, so you need to go. All right, you need to leave. And if he did file first, I guarantee she was the one who brought it up, and I think he was blindsided. Square sun, square north node, square moon. It was a blow to the ego, a blow to his like direction in life. I don't think he ever thought she would leave him, even as he became controlling. I think with the Pluto square to Venus Jupiter, I wonder if she saw a darker side to him after they got married. Right? Like, this would be like her being like, you were so adoring, you were so congratulative of me, you were so supportive of me, and then suddenly now you're jealous, suddenly you want to control me, suddenly you want to control my direction, right? Venus, Jupiter, suddenly you're jealous of the successes that I have. And I think that he thought, okay, I can lose the veneer, we're married at this point. And I don't think he thought that she would divorce him, and she did. She was like, okay, I am nobody's, like, prisoner, okay? I do what I want. Mars square sun, North Node, Moon, Uranus. I also think there was a war of egos. Their Mars square each other. That means that he wanted her to give in, but she just didn't care. The thing about if you have Scorpio placements and you're dealing with someone with an Aquarius placement, is that Scorpio cares so much, and Aquarius is so good at pretending they literally do not know you exist, even if they do. That means that their way of, like, Mars is like your anger. How do you handle your anger? Mars in Aquarius is, I handle my anger by playing it icy cold. You can't get to me, right? Mars in Scorpio is, I get hot. He gets angry. He loses his temper. And she just never seemed to. She would either like leave or seem like she didn't care. And I think that was a point of contention between them, is I think he felt like he cared more than she did about him. And I don't think that was true. I think that she just didn't care about him as much as she cared about her future. Or she wouldn't let him make her choose, if that makes sense. What else can I tell you? So yeah, I think it infuriated him, and it was a huge blow to his ego that she maybe seemed fine or seemed to not care. But that's just the way that people with Mars and Aquarius deal with, like, conflict, is that they will just get emotionless. They will just become quite icy with you because their defense mechanism is, I'm not going to let you know you got to me, right? Like, that's the way she handles things. Her Mars trines his Jupiter. I think she taught him a lot about how to succeed better. Jupiter in the 9th house, about taking risks and just trying things. Ooh, I just got like a message. I wonder if Ryan was making like very traditional routes to success choices in his career. Like, maybe he was only taking certain roles that he thought would make him look good, or maybe he was only taking roles from like very esteemed or prestigious studios or something. And Mars in Aquarius, maybe Scarlett's a little bit more vibey and she just kind of goes with what feels right. So maybe she taught him how to like just start taking roles that have more depth regardless of maybe who's making it or something. I don't know. I feel like there's something there. Like, maybe he was just most concerned with like who he's working with, what studio he's working with, what actors he's working with. And her Mars in Aquarius means she just takes whatever she feels like. She doesn't take opportunities just because somebody famous is on it. And I think that was maybe how he was making decisions. And I think she taught him that. His Jupiter on her North Node, that means that he wanted what she was already getting. North Node in Taurus means she was destined for success, right? North Node in Taurus, like, she's meant to be admired and seen and special and like seen as valuable. And the North Node conjunct Jupiter means that he felt like he became luckier by association with her. I wonder if he maybe started to succeed a little bit more in the industry when he got with her. But also Jupiter North Node it's just aspirational. It means he wants to be like her. He aspires here. What else? Seems to be the gist of it. Also, his entire stellium falling in her 11th house, like, it was incredibly motivated by success and who she knew and who she was associated with. Her Pluto in the 11th house means that she was destined to be someone of authority in whatever industry she ended up in, and he wanted to be a part of that. He saw her as someone who could bring him into the world he wanted to be a part of. Her entire chart falls into his 3rd house. This means that she felt like what she loved most about him was his personality and his like the way he talked, the way he thought, the way he saw the world, right? All right, so let's see what else we have. Let's take a look at the relationship. You know, what was the dynamic between these two? What was his energy? Oh, his energy. What did I tell you? 9 of Cups. I think if it was up to him, he would have never divorced Scarlett, even if he cheated on her with Blake. Even if he cheated on her with Blake. I think that he thought she would never leave him. And I don't think he ever wanted to leave her. I think if he left her, it was because she embarrassed him and she was like, let's get a divorce. Then he said, okay, you want a divorce? I want a divorce. And then he might have filed first if he did file first. She's the 7 of Pentacles. And Judgment between them. This was a karmic relationship for sure. The 7 of Pentacles on her end means that she felt comfortable with him. She liked him because she liked what they could build together. She liked maybe how normal and chill. Maybe they had like a friendship type dynamic where she felt like she could be herself with him. Let's pull another card. 2 of Wands. Yeah, he was simultaneously attracted to her but also competing with her. Wow, so that card fell. We have Empress. I love Scarlett's energy. She's just like she wanted him because she just liked him. She just liked being with him and she didn't really care about any of the other stuff. Empress is like someone very self-assured. She was very self-assured about who she was, what she wanted. And she was not about this 2 of Wands stuff. She wasn't about like, we're not competing. We're not, I think Ryan saw everything as a fight. Like, you had to come to me. And she's like, why does it matter? Like, we're in a relationship. You can come to me. Like, why is it like, I do one thing, then you do one thing, then I do one thing, then you do one thing. Like, I think Ryan was always kind of keeping score with the 2 of Wands. And she was just vibing. And I think over time, she didn't really like it, like the way that things were playing out. Now let's take a look at what happened with like the Blake Lively situation. What was going on there? Was there cheating? Like, what happened? The 9 of Wands. All right, let's see. Judgment. The Tower. So yeah, this was a huge issue. Judgment could be like the media. So I don't know, maybe she didn't know about what was happening with Blake. Maybe she found out through the media. The 9 of Wands could indicate that at the time they weren't in a good place. Maybe they weren't on speaking terms. Maybe they were on a break, like an unofficial break. I don't know. But then the Tower, maybe she was just like suddenly very, very shocked. Like maybe they weren't talking and then suddenly she sees tabloid stuff about him and Blake. I don't know. Or maybe like they had been on the rocks for a while and then suddenly she's hearing about this other person. 10 of Wands. The relationship was already falling apart for sure by the time that he met Blake. The Star. 10 of Swords. Yeah. This was the final nail in the coffin. I don't think that Scarlett divorced him because of Blake. I think Blake was the final thing that told her, like, enough is enough. This is the end. We're not continuing. Like, this is the end of the relationship. So I do think that she initiated the divorce for sure, even if she didn't file first. I also think that she thought that maybe they could get through this, but then after she found out about Blake, she was like, absolutely not. The Tower. So I do think there was some funny business going on. I also think the Star is interesting. I think that if he cheated with Blake, it was probably because he felt admired by her in a time where his own wife was ignoring him. 9 of Wands. He maybe felt like unsupported by his wife. 9 of Wands. And then he gets on set with this young girl who's like googly-eyed about him. Let's see. Let's get a little more. Wow, that was a lot of cards. What was Ryan's dynamic with Blake? Wow, 2 of Cups, yeah. Even if they weren't literally cheating, there was vibes. 100%. 100% there was vibes and everyone could see it. The World. Yeah, the World. Everyone could see it. And the Hermit. I think, oh my god, the Devil. Yeah, for sure. There was funny business. For sure. He was playing with fire. He knew what he was doing. I think with the World, though, and the Hermit, I think he felt really alone, ignored by his wife, and then he meets this girl, and, like, he's just lost in this. And then Scarlett finds out, and she's like, okay, anyway, I am way too good for this, so this is over. So you cannot get me to believe that Ryan was the one who wanted a divorce. It was definitely her. It was definitely Scarlett. Anyway, so that is all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys the next one. Bye.